Welcome back, my friends! I'm the Educational Gamer and we are playing Strategic Command World War II Edition. Just finished the turn as the Soviets, so we are turning over to the Western Allies to see what we can do, and actually realized my very first mistake. So, last time we did parachute the first Paradrop division over here into Norway to attack Bergen. We were fairly successful in that, but now I realize our chances over here have dropped significantly, and that is because we are sitting over here at 0 supply. The reason why we are at 0 plus supply is because we have paratroopers, and I thought that the special rules that do apply to special forces would also apply to paratroopers. I was wrong. So, that is a little bit discerning, but we will try to do our best to alleviate that result. Firstly, we are going to land our Royal Marines over here into the adjacent field on Trondheim. That should allow us to attack them this turn. Can we actually move in over here now? We can. So that is interesting. So we can use our carriers either to strike Bergen, Landmot, or Trondheim. So I think striking on Trondheim is a little bit more promising, so that we can take this supply depot along with this port over here, and then we'll be able to exert much more damage over there. So let's bring you in over here. Let's start our bombing runs on this garrison. We are not going to do much direct physical damage to the garrison itself, but what we are going to do is reduce their morale and readiness, and hopefully make it a little bit more easy for our Marines, which in fact we are doing, so that is encouraging. Let's see whether we can do more by potentially doing some ground bombardments, as these battleships did strike the town but not the garrison itself, and I think we can't actually do that. So that means actually we can bring in the battleship over here so that they don't receive supplies from the port, and let's conduct our first strike over here. A little bit worse than expected, but we will see how that fight develops over time. Now over here this attack would not get us anywhere really, so I'm a little bit reluctant to overcommit too many forces over here. We don't really have that much more that we can do. With the UK, we don't have any more special forces as the UK, so we will need to be a little bit more careful with that. That being said, we can bring up some forces like such over here to Brest and blockade Bordeaux as well. We are blockading these supply lines. That is all good and dandy. Could land up some forces over here, but it's not going to be extremely useful unless we do more on the front with Trondheim and capture the supply depot. Even then it's going to be a difficult hike onto Oslo, but at least it might be useful, and at least we can evacuate these guys, whereas I think you can't even be withdrawn. Could move you up towards Lillehammer, and I don't see any other way how we could attack Bergen if we don't have special forces over here. So let's advance onto Lillehammer. And that to me means there's a garrison over here, because otherwise I think we would have captured this field. But yeah, at the very least disrupt the supplies over here even a little bit more. Our naval bombers could come over here, but of course that would not be any useful. We have some tactical bombers sitting over here. I'm not sure whether that does anything, but let's try. Not sure whether I can reach from over here. Let's try though, so that might be useful. Good. Other than that, I don't think there's too much that we can or should be doing as the UK over here. Let's maybe bring up some of our forces down here towards the south to maybe start out some of the potential attacks on this area down here. Just withdraw these submarines, so that is okay. So I think we can move up towards the North African theatre over here. Things are looking a little bit dire. We are not making that much progress, but over here that attack actually doesn't look too bad, and I think we can conduct some strikes with our bombers, even though we are horribly... Oh! That's not what I meant to do. Not at all. God damn it. Yeah, we are horribly low on strength, so these guys do need to be reinforced, and I would have hoped that that would have gone a little bit better. Of course it didn't. Okay, let's start out with a bombardment with our artillery. Spend the shells that we do have. Don't think we want to do any of our carrier strikes on these guys or anything like that, so yeah, let's actually attack with the special forces. Do some damage over there, that is very good to see. How is your readiness? Yours is pretty good, so let's bring you up over here. Let's attack. Let's withdraw. Can we bring up our tanks? Your readiness is not so great. Yours neither. All of the readiness of these guys isn't too good. Okay, let's bring up the tanks. Two. Okay, let's bring up the army. Not the best choice. You need to be reinforced, I think. Okay, let's conduct the strike. Move back, bring in the tanks. How can you be so resilient? We even have some fighters over here that we could use to strike these guys. Their readiness and morale is so low already. As is their supply. Could try to get lucky over here, but why? The morale is again so low, so... Yeah, there's no point in doing this, so... let's upgrade or reinforce our carrier wings over here. And then these battleships don't really have anything to do. I mean, we do know about the submarine over there. We do know that there is a German submarine somewhere in the Med, and we do know that there is an Italian battleship somewhere in the Mediterranean, but I don't really see them now. So, yeah, what are we gonna do over here? Aha, look at that. There is the German battleship. Sorry, submarine. That does at least tell us where it is, even though I'm mostly actually concerned about, of course, the battleship. I think it's probably over here. Yeah. Well. Oh, we also have more destroyers over here. Let's look at Coranto. Doesn't look too much like it's over here. Yeah. These light cruisers we'll keep over there. The battleship then could conduct a strike on the readiness of these anti-tank units, so why not? And this battleship we'll send to conduct some strike on this town so that they lose some reinforcements, and I think that's alright. And then the heavy cruiser can come into over there. And the Sudanese Defense Forces. This carrier, I think we can move it down here towards Sirte. Ooh, look at that. We can conduct some strikes over here. Yeah, so let's gain some experience. And of course lose some units, even though we shouldn't have. And then we can bring in these transports towards over here. How's the supply situation actually? So it's not even worse over here, so we can go over there, we can land, and that's fine. I would ideally like to bring you up via rail at some point. But that's about everyone in East Africa, well, except for the Leclerc French. These Frenchies. And they are not actually French. I think they are actually counting, even though they'll say no, French are controlling Africa, which I think is counting as a minor faction of the UK, which is a little bit weird. Right. You could conduct some strikes, but that would be suicidal. So yeah, let's bring in the Americans a little bit more closely. Again, there's no point really using these destroyers to scout ahead, but I do want to do so for flavor. And that I think should be fine. And then try to bring in these... Ooh, you can actually... Oh, you can. That is very nice. So yeah, let's bring you up a little bit more closely even, so that we can attack Algiers over here in Iran and Algiers and Casablanca. Yes, Casablanca. I think these guys will do Casablanca, and then you two might be getting up over there as far as possible. This transport we don't really need to push up quite as far. It's fine if you do this. So yeah, we'll be launching Operation Torch, I think, next turn. This turn we are still building up to it. But all in all, we seem to be doing fine over here. And I think what we can do is bring up a heavy cruiser as well. Just to sort of make an impression on that. And these guys on the American coast can also speed up just a little bit to come over there a little bit more quickly. So the second Rangers, I think before we do anything rash, let's upgrade you. Also in terms of your mobility, I think that's fine. Tactical bombers, fighters, I don't really think you need to be doing anything. No point really doing these patrols over here, but why not? So yeah, that's fine. Good. The Mexicans we can upgrade from the American cost. Ooh, goddammit, that should have been a double upgrade. Right, you are lacking some upgrades, but I think that's fine once you're gonna land, so yeah. Yeah, Operation Torch, of course, historically, well, I think we'll talk about that in the next turn. That's gonna be alright. UK Special Forces over here. Sorry, headquarter. Let's bring you up over there. Can you upgrade? Yeah, you can upgrade your mobility. Let's do that. Not on the garrisons though, I think they are pretty much worthless. Could bring up the army. Yeah, but not before we capture the port. Let's wait for that. I think that's gonna be alright. Good, that does settle the European front. What we should be... Oh, let's not forget about these tanks over here. These marine tank divisions. Yeah, but you really need to come home, I think, to be refitted. Your strength is so low, so yeah. It's gonna be fine. Good, let's jump over towards the Pacific Theater. We did reinforce our marines over here last time because I would ideally like to land over here at Guam and make a little bit of an impression over here. Come on, don't do this weird stuff. Okay, so they're not occupying the port. Sorry, did I say Guam? I mean the Solomon Islands, of course. So yeah, let's bring up the battleship then towards this area. And these first Rangers actually are going to be landed in, put into long-range transports. Move out this turn. Next turn you can be a little bit more aggressive. You can move, capture that port. Yeah, a little bit weirdly squeezed in between two Japanese ports over here. We do know about this Japanese battleship, but then again, our carriers over here really need to be reinforced by the air groups, which is going to be quite expensive actually. But still much better than reinforcing an entire ship or anything like that. The heavy cruiser, I guess you can move out. I guess you can actually take the station from these guys so that the battleship can be protecting the transports over here a little bit more strongly. And I think I appreciate that. Good. That does leave this battleship over here, which does deserve an upgrade. But I do want to move in the carrier first. And yeah, I think you guys can be upgraded. Let's upgrade the battleship to better naval weaponry. Submarine warfare defenses. This is really defensive only. But yeah, it's gonna be okay. Good. So that does settle right about everyone over there. We do have some battleships over here, and we could, I guess, launch a massive attack on these guys. No one over there. I wish we had some more information. Ooh! Enemy contact with the destroyer. One that did turn out surprisingly well for us. So, does that mean we want to do a straight on battleship attack? I think the Japanese don't have that many ships. Our battleships are slightly damaged. One of our battleships has some damage. This battleship could not get into engagement range. So I'm not convinced that that would be a favorable battle for us right now. That does mean our submarines will be mauled next turn, but I do think that is an acceptable trade-off. We also have these special forces that we should potentially move out. So of course one of the potential attack points would be the Gilbert Islands down here, mostly to reduce their national morale. Likewise, this over here would be a tempting target. These guys might be actually a little bit easier to capture. But I'm not sure we could land on the port. I actually don't know that. Can you land on the port? And if not, how are you supposed to take this island? Finish up the Gilberts. Some fighters up here. Can't really use them. Okay, so firstly, okay, let's put you into an amphibious transport. Should be too expensive, and then you can move down there next time, and that is going to be fine. And this battleship we'll also send up towards the rest of these guys, and that's all right. And you can actually come into this port and I think be upgraded next turn, and that should be good. All right, that does settle it for the Americans. Nice contact over here. Let's turn our eyes towards Southeast Asia. So firstly down here in Java. We were attacked last time, but they had to withdraw. Oh, it's only 1 point reinforcement? How is the supply situation and how would it be? I'm guessing this is going to be a 3. Yeah, so not necessarily too helpful. Let's advance a little bit over here. Actually cut off these guys from this harbor, which I very much appreciate. That's very good actually. You guys are still in supply, but you might be in a little bit of trouble, my friend. Looking very good. Can also bring up our... Can't you land over here? Apparently not. I thought you could. Well... Light cruiser, submarines. Okay, let's bring our light cruiser all the way to over here, so that we can support the attack on the areas under Japanese control in the... Oh, you can upgrade? No. Right. So yeah, not much of an ability to push up too strongly over here, although we should potentially get into it there, I realize. Alright, let's take a look at Siam first. So you could advance. We do have some special forces over here who have been put into transports. You're advancing along the Burma Road. Yeah, let's push up over here as best as we can. Some tactical bombers. Let's put you into Mandalay at least. Yeah, we are suffering from the supply issues over here, but still. King George V needs to be reinforced. And I think what we can do is bring up one of our destroyers over here towards Rangru so that we are blockading the harbour. And at least prevent any further reinforcements coming in to over there. And then we do have these paratroopers. Now I'm unsure whether they should be moved out down here. You know what, let's actually put you on a... Oh, we can't put you on a transport. That is unfortunate. It's probably because we have all of these guys. Yeah, these Indian armies. Okay. And we do have these Malayan troops. You should potentially be upgraded. For better mobility? Yes, let's do that so we can push up into there more strongly. We can bring up the Indian army towards over here. Actually drive back these Japanese forces further. That's not a bad idea. Good. We have some more Indians, which we are going to land over here, just because. Yeah, let's make this an Indian front, and I think that's going to be a very, very good choice. Over here in Vietnam, I think we can pretty much simply continue our push on these guys with these two armies. There we go, very nice result. Can we capture that town? We cannot. That is disheartening a little bit, but still. So I'm guessing that they will take their spot now next turn, but still, all in all, I think that's a decent result. We have some tactical bombers, but then again the area is so rainy that it doesn't make much sense to do that. Good. South Africans over here in Java. You are fine, I guess. You could come down here and then slowly make your way across over there. Yeah, I think that's fine. So I'm tempted to simply load up these guys on a long-range transport, the Australians, and land in Guadalcanal. But we don't really have too much naval presence over here. Okay, so let's establish a naval presence down there. Let's firstly move up our carriers. I guess we can move you all the way over here. Could move you up a little bit further, but why not stay in harbour if we can? These carriers need to be upgraded with their fighters. That will be so much better. And then the Hood can come up to the Australian coast as well. Move you up simply to the port into the region. I don't think that's an area that is going to be likely under attack by any Japanese forces. Let's bring up the battleship as well. And then we do have some heavy cruisers over here, but they are required to blockade these ports, so I think that's fine. And you're disrupting quite a lot of supply, so happy about that as well. And yeah, with India, shouldn't we be able to transport you now? I would feel like that is something that we should be able to do. Yeah, we are getting more and more of these Indians, and I'm not sure that we necessarily need them to finish off the Japanese. Actually, we do have quite a couple of Chinese units who are down here in this area, and it might be time to turn the Indians towards the European theatre as well. Yeah, but you know what? I think we've moved all of our units actually, so we did deal with that area. Could move up a couple of you guys, but not really that important. Good. So that does bring us to research, and now the US did finish quite a bit of its research last turn, so I'm very happy about that. I think it was the production technology, but we are investing a chit into that. Also logistics potentially. Yeah, so we are investing one into that, and we only have the ability to advance one further. So I don't think it does make sense to spend there much more there. It would make it a little bit faster to do this, but not necessarily so much better to do that. I also do think we research ground attack weapons, and again it's a similar principle. We only can advance up to level 3. We are already at level 2, so yeah, there's no reason to invest any more than that. So that does leave us with advanced submarines, but I think the Japanese are so close to collapse that we don't really require any more Japanese power as the US. Anti-aircraft weapons are nice to have as the US, but not necessarily required. So I think what we are going to do is go for advanced tanks, level 4 actually, because we are at 2 and we are now spending 2, and that is very fine. Advanced submarines, no. Advanced anti-tank weapons, I don't think that is something that we want to do. Heavy bombers, viable. Anti-submarine defenses, no. All of the Axis powers are so close to collapsing that doesn't make any sense. Oh, but command and control, that is very important to be able to supply our forces abroad. So yeah, I think that's fine. That does leave us with 100 points to spend, but there's not really anything that does cost 100 points that is that valuable to me right now. except maybe logistics. But yeah, no. For the UK though, industrial technology, production technology, all very good actually. Amphibious warfare, let's invest a little bit more into that. You are doing infantry warfare, you are doing all of the command and control levels. That is very, very good. Infantry weapons, you are catching up at least. Could think about advanced tanks. That would not be bad. Ground attack weapons likely. Also, I think the UK, the US has advanced by quite a bit by now, so ground attack weapons really wouldn't be bad. But you know what? Let's do tanks, because I am afraid that if we land on the continent, the Germans will have something to say about that. Good. Everything else though does seem fine as the UK. Not too many points left as the UK. I think we can think about some upgrades over here, which I am going to take. Not on any cities though, of course. Some mobility upgrade? No. Yeah, everything else though seems to be fine. Oh, maybe we should advance down here. I'm not sure. Do we want to? Let's keep things as they are for now. China really can't do anything. They have so many points. Yeah, we really can't do anything as China. Maybe diplomatically? No, we don't have any influences remaining. As the UK we would, but then again, that's not really something that we can do. Mongolia wouldn't necessarily be bad, but it would take quite a while to actually do that, so no, I think it's fine. Yeah, so let's buy some stuff as the US. What is it that we would want? As always, it feels so nice to be able to buy a unit every turn. You can even buy a battleship. But yes, more special forces I think wouldn't be the worst. On the other hand, maybe some heavy artillery is also, I think, very viable as the US. We even have artillery weapons one, so yeah, let's go for that. And this is 14 more points, but I do think that might be worthwhile, so yeah, heavy artillery it is. And I don't think anyone else can buy anything else that would be worthwhile at all. China could build up a really Manchukuan army, but why would it? Heavy artillery. Yeah, let's do that, because why not? We do have so many points as China. Okay, we do have a headquarter unit as Canada, and some Indian medium bombers. Useful, but not too much actually. Good. Good. Very good actually. So, Germany pommeled the Soviets again. How is the Soviet build-up looking like? We couldn't actually buy the tank army back. That is unfortunate. But at least we are getting the special forces back soon and another army. Although I suspect the Germans will do some damage to us as well. But then again, we did destroy, I think, a corps and an army. So that is good progress, even though we are still lagging behind the German build-up. But at the very least, we are building up a second front over here in Norway. And I think these Marines will be more useful than these paratroopers, because they will at least retain some of their strength, and that is worthwhile. And we still can't purchase more special forces as the UK. Yeah, this UK is really limited on special forces. So, you know, keeping that in mind, I think what we actually need to do is pull back these special forces from North Africa towards the UK even. The other thing, of course, that I want to start with is reducing some of their strength down here, but that might have to wait until at least we capture Trondheim. Kristiansand and Stavanger region. Could also attempt direct launch onto Oslo, but again, it would be so difficult just to cut them off there. We'll have to see about that though. I think for now this is a very good place to put in a cut, and I'll see you guys next time around. Bye bye.